It was after 9/11 that people started asking about our practices, what we do, what our mosques are all about, what our people are doing.
There is still a great deal of fear. There is still a great deal of concern. But with that, there's also hope because there is engagement.
I deal with faith-based communities, primarily the Muslim community, the Jewish community, the Sikh community.
We work with those communities to give them a voice. I think community policing is part of our DNA.
Since 9/11, communities from coast to coast have been on edge about the next act of violent extremism. The Los Angeles Police Department took action to counter violent extremism. Their method, community policing. Here is their story.
My bureau, Counterterrorism Special Operations Bureau, I like to say that we are a prevention bureau. We are to the left of boom. It hasn't gone off yet. And whatever we can do to either disrupt and or attract people to help support the values of our country, the values of our city, to say, hey, we're with you shoulder to shoulder, and we're not going to let these kinds of things take root in our community. That's a success.
Community policing requires trust and partnership, but how is that achieved? Many steps are involved in the process to allay the fears of a community and to gain trust. LAPD uses persistence, patience, and friendliness to work hand in hand with the community to make it a safer place.
Law enforcement's role in countering violent extremism is to develop relationships to further justice. Basic, what you call boots on the ground, that's what I do, which I follow up to different community events, go to different community functions, and if there is some sort of a policing policy that people are not happy with, we make sure that gets communicated to the decision makers.
Starting at the foundation of trust, to partnership, to now a friendship, for me, that's when I can get things accomplished.
We got to move from just shouting at each other, because nobody listens when people shout, to talking about these issues.
We brought all community heads to the meeting. We introduced LAPD to them. We took around LAPD and put them in all our newspapers. We hyped up the partnership on the Facebooks. And from there on, we started seeing that our community organizations, our community people looked at it that it's okay. Because in the beginning, I was asked the question, are you working for FBI? Are you working with law enforcement to turn us in? So it is our duty to keep it safe. And this is our way of policing and helping our people.
The public forums is really the space where you allow communities to have a much larger voice. Not necessarily that in that forum you're going to solve every issue, but it's very critical that the community feels that they are being heard. And so there's also that platform of engagement through the public forums, through direct working groups with law enforcement.
They had that open house where they invited the community. My son went there with me. And he was very impressed because I and he as well, we loved that equipment that they used.
Out of public hearings come understanding for the need to educate the community about suspicious activity reports. One way to do this is through building communities of trust. The Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services and federal partners coined that phrase for workshops to discuss the nationwide Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative.
We had a series of meetings with LAPD, ACLU, a number of Muslim organizations, other civil rights groups, and we came to the agreement that there should be 5 parts that should be incorporated into SARS to improve the program and to make it actually more effective. And I think that was not only a step in the right direction, but it was a momentous occasion to show that partnership for problem solving is really the new model that we're forming.
I think one of the things that has really worked for us in LA is that we were able to work internally within the various sectors of government, not just law enforcement. So for example, you have the Human Relations Commission, you have the Office of the Inspector General. Working with the Office of Inspector General has really brought a whole new way of raising awareness and educating the community, whether it's through workshops, whether it's through letting the community know that there are other avenues to bring forward their concerns.
The Los Angeles Police Department will work with the major community stakeholders in the region, those who have voiced support, who may have questions, and invite stakeholders in to address their concerns. So they drive the agenda. It could be focused on better understanding the NSI program, better understanding what goes on at the JRIC, better understanding maybe local law enforcement's response to a particular incident.
I was confronted with a lot of people worried about what exactly is the police department doing and why do they want this information, and are they just creating secret files on everything that we do in order to watch every moment so that they can use that against us at some future point. Downing actually encouraged it and opened up his entire section in the entire process and asked us to be quite intrusive and look for anything that can improve the process and to help the community understand what was going on.
I think that gives us a legitimate place in the city to police and a legitimate way to outreach and engage with communities.
We had talked to probably about 400 to 500 stakeholders in the community to get their information, to figure out what was the chief concern. Once we did the audit, we reconvened all those individuals and gave them an opportunity to see the audit before it became public. We wanted them to see it and then have some FaceTime with me, have the ability to ask me candidly, what were the limitations of my audit, tell me what they think I should have been doing in the first place, some improvements in our audit model, or just some suggestions, but most importantly, give them a buy-in and give them the sense that we're listening to them and we're actually looking at the issues that are important to them.
I think it's important that you have the debate because you need to have a level of transparency in the community. You need to have this dialogue.
I think they have done a great job of reaching out to the community. I really do feel they're well liked, they're well respected.
We've now had a 5-year relationship, and there is certainly misunderstandings. It is my job, it is COPA's job, it is our community's job to ask questions and then teach them.
We were doing this because we authentically cared, we had compassion for the community, and that we wanted to help them create a better lifestyle and a better quality of life in their neighborhood. Once we did that and they saw that we were authentic in this approach, then they bought into it and they invested in it.
Our most effective tool is to provide balanced, responsible, informed analysis to our law enforcement and our federal partners, so that when they engage the community, they have a better understanding of the threats that we are seeing, to put that into context, and they can raise those issues.
The CVE training or CVE curriculum should really talk about how to influence communities that may have grievances, may be discontent, may feel oppressed because of where they are, where their families are in the world. It should talk about how to influence those communities, individuals, or groups in how to support the values of our country or the values of our Constitution. It's imperative that we understand who is providing this type of training, that we understand their background and also what their intent is. And the intent should be to try to integrate communities into the local government effort to build trust with police departments.
By virtue of our training, we encourage local law enforcement agencies to train frontline officers in principles of privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties, and suspicious activity reporting.
Investing in this circle of trust and partnership to counter violent extremism is a critical step in community policing efforts, including building trust, engaging the community, leveraging stakeholders, supporting communities, and training.
We're getting close. We're getting close. We've had some great things happen, but we got a long way to go. But for me, the end game is when you get that friendship, man, it's beautiful.